This is Cover Shit Podcast. I'm with the legend himself, Trapzilla, in the building. He's worked with people like Lil Uzi, Lil Pump, Pete, 6ix9ine, basically everyone in the rap game.
Riff Raff,
Riff
fucking
Raff, fucking yeah.
my one of my first, it's funny, one of my first people I worked with was actually Zoo and David Dan at Mind of Genius. So I have a lot of like inroads in the EDM world as well. I've played major festivals all over the world. I've been behind a lot of projects that people don't even realize I'm involved in. One of the things that I've consistently done in my life is to just try to provide value, and if I get the credit for it after, it is what it is. If not, it's not meant to be. I don't really have a desire to hold on to people's lives or take credit for their actions. Where I see a lot of managers and bit players that like to run around crying about being left out. And a lot of
Mm,
them are in situations where I just really did the fucking work and they just sat there and took advantage of the situation and then cry later on about it. But you know what? It is what it is. I think
yeah,
if you're gonna get into the creative spaces and try to like really like implement some type of stuff that's gonna have some historical basis, you have to be willing to be a footnote or the kind of person that people really need to know what the fuck's going on in order to understand that that person had that involvement. There's a lot of players in this industry and a lot of other industries that kind of go unnoticed. They kind of get painted into this, let's say, especially if they're not the kind of people that really are giving a fuck what people think about them. So they're open online. And
right.
let's say they have mental health issues or some situations go up and down. My life has never been fluid. I've never had stability. It's because I'm always reaching for more. And I'm okay with that kind of dichotomy. Has it been problematic to my family life and my social life and my business life? In reality, yeah, it has. But I sleep at night really good, bro.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't really hold any anger or any type of like confusion with my relationships with people. Like I'm just me, bro.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get there. There's definitely
Okay.
a long time my life was based on like anger and resentment and shit like that. Just not there anymore, bro. Just I like to be at peace, regardless of what it is.
I feel you, bro. Also, like, I think in the music industry, if you lash out online on Twitter and shit, and people see it, you kind of look like a fool, and no one wants to fuck with you
Well,
after
yeah,
that,
yeah.
like a
And you know what the
liability.
crazy part? You know what the crazy part of this industry, bro, is just like, yeah, you look like a fool, but then to a core group of people that actually know what time it is, you
Right.
become a hero. So
Mm,
like, you got to kind of pick your poison here in terms of who's going to respect you and what that means. I know that I've been involved in pretty much every major hip hop or fucking DIY like music
bro.
act in the past like good 15 years. There's a footnote of history that I have with all these people. Um, I would like to think in as some people consider this sad or stupid or the case may be, but I'm probably one of the most uncredited writer producers that exists in the modern era. And I know that sounds kind of like fucking crazy, but the reality is yeah, bro, like the amount of music that's definitive to this generation of kids that I had a direct involvement in that I'm not officially credited in is at this point gone to like a sick level. There's songs that I've written that get released, no mention of me whatsoever, and it's just like put it this way, bro. I never came in this shit to get like fame, fortune, or peace.
No.
Maybe I made a lot of money in the internet marketing space for a long time.
Yeah.
I was heavily involved in the call center world. I did a lot of like spam based tactics, everything from voice broadcasting to Google Maps spam to generate phone calls for affiliate marketing spaces.
Okay.
I've managed extremely large call centers on and offshore. I just know what I'm doing when it comes to like mass media and just
Yeah.
really pushing something out there. And I think my experiences and my abilities in that arena allowed me to have the kind of inroads in music in a quick fashion that no one really could. I was very quickly finding myself in the room with major artists just because
Yeah.
I just understood the concept that's pay to play, bro. Like, if I want to get a major
Okay.
artist in the studio, like, you gotta be willing to pay to have them there. And if most people aren't willing to pay, they
Yeah.
almost take like offense to the concept that they have to pay. But bro, like, it's a business. You know what I mean? People's
I feel
time is
you.
worth money, and I
So,
think that.
yeah.
But
So is that how rappers blow up or they come up? So what
uh,
you do?
I'll tell you exactly. I want to know the let's let me give a quick breakdown to everyone that's in the rap game or trying to get into this rap game. This is a business first and foremost. The concept of natural music progression and just the desire to collab, bro, it's not that anymore. Hip hop has a very organic history in the streets. In terms of people just meeting up, dancing, fucking rapping, freestyling, the whole 9 yards. That's beautiful, and you'll get self respect on the streets from that. But in terms of making it commercially in this industry, you have to be a marketer. You have to be a social media expert. You have to understand relationship building, and you have to kind of have the kind of street hustle that comes with being a drug dealer in order to understand providing value and exchanging that for exposure. Um, and it's not what people think. I mean, you'd be surprised what like $500 will do for you in a couple rappers' DMs. Most of these kids aren't making any money. They'll take
Yeah.
$50 for a repost. They'll take $150 for a feature. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
shit.
it's all about reaching out and
Yeah.
communicating with kids that you can. If you are able to identify the metric background of most of these creative artists, and you look at this as a business and then a fit, just in the sense that you're in your reality or just an affiliate marketer, but in the music
Yeah.
space. And if you come
Mm.
into that and do the right JV partnerships and you do the right type of exposure on that end, you're definitely going to get a look. Now, anybody could get a look, anybody could get a chance to really catch that virality. Do they have the talent and the quality level and the insight to make music that's going to fit a specific demographic in a specific wave of time? Very few and far between. Some of the best rappers that I've seen in my life, marketing wise, have an understanding of internet marketing concepts to such a deep, profound level, but without the same vocabulary that people like me and you that have experience in the space would use. A lot of the kids that I've worked with that have had a lot of success
Like who?
understand. Let's say I'll throw out a name like Pump, Smoke
I
Perp.
thought you were gonna say punk. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just bro. Like I always reference him because he had such a profound understanding of virality.
Yeah.
He unbeknownst to him, he was an amazing internet marketer, bro.
Bro,
Like
I
he was
saw him
making
at World Star. Sorry to
yeah,
cut you
bro.
off.
Like
He blew up like off of like what's 2 + 2? He said 5 before he like started making music. And that like in itself is like pretty genius.
bro, like yeah, bro. I think a lot of these kids get themselves in weird situations because they assume that there's like a magic to this, and that's
Right.
when we start getting into kids getting themselves in occult situations. And that kind of speaks to a lot of the dark side of this industry in a long time as well. Like everyone has their own ability to believe or not believe in esoteric principles and different things, and let's say demonic intervention and the whole 9 yards. But if we look at this from a historical basis, music has always been something along the lines of almost an occult, like fucking like psychotherapy to a certain extent. We can even look at the hurts of of pop music.
Yeah.
Hitler had figured out that around 40 hertz, which is the terms of most pop music is in, um, created a situation in the human mind that created an anxiety and an almost an uneasiness, which creates a situation where you start attaching yourself more to what you're hearing. So a lot of the auditory principles that exist in like propaganda and everything else that were developed during World War II for a long time are pop music principles at this point. And I think people need to understand the science and understand the history and the background of structure, sound, chord progression, key, pitch, BPM of songs that make it on top of the charts. And there's a consistency to it. There's almost like a mafia behind the engineering and songwriting and everything as well. Because if you look at the top 10, we can take a top 10 chart right now. And I want you to look at the songwriters, producers, fucking engineers, mixers, 9 yards, and you're going to start seeing the pattern. And if you don't play in that realm of pattern, your opportunities get shut down to a long
Right.
sense. Where we live in a DSP area, a DSP era that is extremely problematic to the natural progression of music. DSPs in and of themselves are computer programs and they're algorithmic. Anyone that understands programming understands with these algorithms, they can be manipulated in the back end to change things. Um, I have done a lot of case studies personally with a lot of different artists, just in terms of like watching how numbers play out. One of the most profound examples of that, I would say, would be like I Love Conan Tuesday. When he was with OVO and they had their falling out, we witnessed Tuesday's numbers like go from extremely large amounts of streams to literally just like 5% of those stream numbers overnight, and it was after a falling out.
Yeah.
In my communication with different representatives from different DSPs, I've come to the conclusion that on the back of these DSP providers, there is a red light, green light, and yellow light scenario. I don't know who exactly has access to this back end. If you start seeing who's been purchasing pieces of these companies on a consistent basis, you'll notice that there's a consistency that it's these labels, it's Chinese companies like Tencent and everything like that that are coming in and buying.
Okay.
But there's a back end there, bro, and that back
Yeah.
end is a trip. There's a trip because
Yeah.
I had a phone meeting with undisclosed A&R at a major label, and I kind of approached him with the other thing. I'm like, bro, like, what the fuck is going on? Because like this doesn't make any sense at this point. He just told me, he's like, yeah, I understand. Like, if you want to be a major artist, you're gonna have to play in our systems.
Right.
You're gonna have to play along. You're gonna have to sign these deals, and you're gonna have to be consistent with it. And I was like, I'm like, what do you mean by being major? And he's like, well, if you want access to our playlist, if you want access to our shit, you're gonna have to be under deals right now. It's pretty crazy what's happened in the last couple of years in terms of recording contracts. Previously, we had a very good system. Most of the deals were like 80-20, 70-30, where the case may be. If they went to 50-50, it came with a lot of money up front and artist development abilities. At this point, most of the major labels have taken the stance that they want a 90-10 split on these deals. And the 90% goes to them. That's not to say that the artist is only going to end up with 10%. The artist needs to be smart enough to understand that the rest of these percentages are going to go to the songwriters, they're going to go to the mixers. And what was happening was most hip hop major managers were buying out beats. So then they owned all the rights to that. They were paying for the mixing and mastering themselves cash. So then they got the points for that. So that it just became this thing where and this is what a lot of times too, is they would pay people out, not get any paperwork, and the label's trying to clear everything and it's already out, they're making money off it every year, and suddenly a lawsuit comes in and there's no paperwork. So if I don't have any paperwork, I didn't pay anything, even if you have a check. Any money that's given without an actual proper paperwork for that kind of stuff, in reality, the court of law is just a gift. And a lot of people have played smart on that end. There's been a lot of people that have been able to take advantage of music industry contracts at this point by just playing stupid. It's almost like it's beneficial for you to be a fucking asshole at this point than it is to be a good businessman.
Right.
Those days are done. But yeah, fun times to say the least.
Yeah, man.
I love this industry. I love everything about it.
Yeah, I used to love
fluid. It's still fluid, bro. Like the reality is that
it's gender fluid.
Well, bro, it's just well, yeah. One day it's a bitch, one day it's an asshole, one day it's just a consistency, bro.
One day
Like
it's
it
gay.
goes.
A lot of weird shit going
Yeah.
on these days with music.
Oh, bro. You know it's crazy, bro. I think the amount of people that are homosexuals, whatever case may be, in regards to that, like I don't have any issues with anybody's personal life.
Man.
I don't have any issues with anyone that has any of that kind of stuff. But you know what? When they hide it and they don't say anything about it, is when we get problematic situations.
Right.
Especially when you're working with the youth. So let's say you're a 40-year-old man, you're producing, or you're an A&R somewhere like that. You have a bunch of fucking like 16 to 18-year-old boys with you on a consistent basis, bro. Like, if you're not making it clear that you're gay, it creates situations where these dudes like they fall in love with these fools and all this kind of shit. Like there's a lot of like shit like that.
Yeah.
Females have a very hard time in this industry as well because they get into these situations where they have a manager or the case may be. They're 18 years old. They're working with a producer. And a lot of these producers have unlimited lines of people that are trying to work with them. So it becomes not even like it's not like a rape situation or anything like that, but it's more along the lines like, look, I work with whoever the fuck I want to work with. You don't have money to pay me. Why would I spend my time on you? Like in other words, it becomes like a sexual negotiation to a large extent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and as dark as that sounds, it's a lot better than someone just fucking trying to rape you. They have the opportunity to leave the studio at that point if they want to. A lot of these people just are chasing their dreams so hardcore that they forget their own moral ethics and their own sense of pride.
I feel like isn't that like every famous person they have to forget about their moral ethics to a certain extent? Like what's the craziest thing you've heard of in the music industry where like a woman or a man has done craziest sex act or story that you witnessed or heard about?
Okay, I have. I'll be straight up with you. I've had situations when I've had writing camps for certain artists, and a certain songwriter female will come over, and let's say they just have experience with this industry to a dark level, and they come in and they're literally trying to perform sex acts to everybody in the fucking room to create rapport. Like, is that horrible? Like, is it a bad thing? Yeah, of course, bro. But like, this is the thing. A lot of these girls, like, they get that, they know that, and they take advantage of those situations, and they play the victim role right after. And I think a lot of the cancel culture that we've dealt with in the last couple of years involves people that used that to get advancements. Once they did these advancements and they felt like they were used, abused, or case may be, it's like you agreed to what you were doing. If you're not underage, if you're 18 plus, and you find yourself in a room with some dude or whatever the case may be, and there's no contractual obligations, there's no paperwork, nothing, you're just on a date, homegirl. I hate to say it, but that it is what it is.
Damn.
Yeah, it is what it is, and I think a lot of it's unfortunate the amount of major artistic females that really found themselves in in grooming situations. I mean, I've encountered females. I've counted females that are in like artist development deals with no money up front, with no concept of anything, being stripped from their home life and the whole 9 yards. And like, dude, like they almost like don't realize to the extent they're in like in a weird situation because
Uh,
they're chasing a dream. And as someone in the music industry, if you have any previous success in a studio, you could tell someone that I'll make your dreams come true. And at that point, anything goes. Once you sign up to that thought process, you know what I mean. There's a lot of very dark people in this world.
yeah.
There's a lot of dark people. I think people confuse a lot of the dark occult shit with like people that actually believe in the dark occult shit. The reality is that most of the dark occult shit is used by people to put fear and control into them and their actions. I've seen people that have attempted like fucking occult ceremonies in studios, and I know they don't really believe what's going on, but they're creating this situation to fucking literally like put people in weird situations. And I've seen it over and over again.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's a trip, bro. Like, now, is there a dark element to this music industry?
Right.
Yeah, but like it's not a secret to anybody anymore.
Yeah.
That's why, like when people say, like, "Oh, you're exposing secrets to the music industry." No, no, no. I'm not exposing shit. It's out there in the
Yeah.
open, and if you open your eyes to it, you see it.
What's up with
Um,
the sacrificing shit, man? Like human sacrifices. Like ASAP Rocky talks about every time he drops an album, someone in his family dies. Gilly the Kid, like his son died and he blew up. He was crying
um,
when he signed the contract. Do you have to like kill someone before you blow up? What's going on with that?
well, let's look at it like this: to achieve position and control in any market, um, especially that's been around this long, there's a very finite amount of opportunity spaces here. And one artist can break and push through. And let's say there's been a lot of artists over the years that have camps of people behind them that are also rappers, or the case may be.
Right.
Um, and I think when people die, there's a group of people that benefit from this in the industry. Um, is this something you could consider like a full sacrifice and shit like that? We have to start looking at more of the geographical areas of these people where they're involved in and what the background is in these areas. Without getting too specific in name, I will get specific in area. Let's talk about South Florida. South Florida has been a hotbed of a lot of variations of Santeria and variations of devil worship, and variations of very ancient religions in Africa and the Caribbean. There's a religion called Palo that is very prevalent in South Florida and Hialeah and all those areas where all these kids are from. Um, do I personally believe that a lot of the South Florida kids that really had traction had some involvement in that kind of world? If you've spent time in the ghettos in Miami and South Florida, they all do. From the gang members to people facing charges, it gets kind of wild, bro. Like,
Yeah.
that uses a lot of like fucking animal sacrifice.
Oh shit.
People that literally go to cemeteries and dig up bones and use sacrifices with that.
Yeah.
Now ritualistic murder and shit like that.
Yeah.
Does it happen? I'm sure it does.
You
Is
sure?
it?
You know, or you can't talk about it.
Um, it becomes a situation, bro, where like how do I say this in the right way without this thing way up?
Oh
Um,
fuck. This shit is
uh,
getting real.
uh, yeah. Let me be realistic here. Yeah, bro. Yeah. And I think we could look at situations everywhere from like a lot of times it's not like, especially murders internally with camps, the sacrifices become not like occult based or like ritualistic. It's more along the lines of you two guys own a piece of me, and if I don't fucking get rid of you fools, I'm not gonna have shit on my percentage end. And then people in financial issues start fucking turning to like fucking pie in the sky concepts. I think we look at situations like even like YNW Melly. And we see those two people, his friends that were involved in most of the music shit,
Oh,
getting killed like that. If
bruh.
that is that not like a ritualistic murder to a certain extent? Yeah, it is. Do I have I met that kid and he's a good person to me? Yeah. Is he an amazing musician? Yes. But I think over the years, if we've noticed, like people that have an extreme like talent in music, it comes with other things. Be it comes from a bipolar disorder, a multiple personality disorder, schizophrenia, or any type of like psychosis that can lead to some really narcissistic site like issues.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we're dealing with situations like that. Is I think yeah, bro. There's a lot of people that have been fucking killed in this industry specifically to push other people's agendas.
Yeah.
Is it based on some type of like fucking like occult concepts? Like probably. Is there a lot of these kids that believe that like worship of certain entities and other things like that is like that as well? And that's not to knock it, bro. Even me personally, bro. Like I'm a very big follower of a lot of indigenous religions in Mexico, and I spent a lot of time like studying all that kind of stuff. And especially in Mexico, we have a culture of attaching ourselves to certain saints, kind of outside of the prism of Christianity and Catholicism. Like, for instance, like this here on my arm is like this is San Judas. San Juditas is considered like a narco saint to a certain extent, but he is in Catholic dogma. He is the patron saint of lost causes. And the patron saint of providing like passage in the spirit stuff to like any things that wouldn't necessarily be too kosher in most religions. There's a specter that he holds, and if the specter's on the other side that this one's on, like the little like the staff rod, it means that you could kind of pray to it for some evil shit. Be it like the death of someone or the fucking just money or whatever the case may be. And I think across the world we see people that attach themselves to occult principles in order to achieve some type of success. And I think it's more along the lines of how it's optically looked at as opposed to their real true belief in it. Because the people that really believe in that kind of stuff respect it enough to kind of not play with it like that.
Right.
There's definitely a dark element of that kind of religion, and there's the light to a certain extent. And I
Okay.
think you could look at people like Princess Nokia. If you look at a lot of her videos, she is definitely involved in Santeria and all that kind of stuff,
For
but she
real?
does it from. Well, yeah, look at her videos where it's like the Bruja video when they're all white and they're in the forest. But it's different elements of it. That is a pure, like, honest, like, fucking powerful way of doing it that has good intention. Um, once you start getting the darker stuff, it becomes more of a fucking hack to get success, which is an evil thing in
How
itself.
how does that work, bro?
Bro, it's like any other religion. If we look at witchcraft, is like this is the thing, bro. Christianity is witchcraft. Judaism is witchcraft. Like it's all witchcraft to me because that's what it is. You're believing in something that isn't there, you can't see. So in order for you to really believe it, you're really believing in something that's not in front of you
Yeah.
visually. And once you start believing things that your eyes can't see, bro, like that's the epitome of what like a cult is. And whether you want to call it God or the devil, it's one of the same. I think people have a misconception of a difference. I don't look at someone who believes in an occult religion any different than I believe in a Christian in that sense.
Right.
I have a very troubled past with a lot of like religions and stuff like that, and I've seen the dark side of shit like Christianity, Catholicism, and the like. But yeah, to answer the question about that, bro, yeah, are people getting killed in a sacrificial way in the historical timeline of music? Fuck yeah. It is what it is. There's especially with a lot of the kids that have died like recently in the SoundCloud stuff, especially with
Hmm.
fentanyl and everything like that. It becomes a
Yeah.
situation, bro. Like this is the thing. Let's look at Juice World. He was extremely good at recording nonstop. Some of these sessions this kid had would have like 30 songs done at the end of them, which is
Mhm.
unheard of in this
Yeah.
industry. So and he was recording every day. So if you have thousands of songs already lined up and you're in a contract before you die that gives a majority of the percentages to your managers and everything the case may be. And as you spend time in this industry, maybe you start waking up to the fact that people are fucking you over and people and everyone else in the room management wise starts understanding that and getting a little bit apprehensive and scared of what can happen if you walk away. But if you don't walk, if they get rid of you, and I'm not throwing any blame or accusations toward anyone on that end, but his death definitely was beneficial to the people that had him on contract.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when we see things that are play out the way they do, it gets scary almost.
Yeah. Did you meet?
It's just
What are you gonna say?
it just gets almost scary with a lot of these kids, bro. Because I kind of like call it real quick when things are gonna go wrong.
For real?
Oh, bro, just
Just
it
for
really revolves around the type of drugs and the type of woman they have around.
okay.
And when I walk into a situation and I see a bunch of people smoking fentanyl and the whole fucking 9 yards, this is the thing, bro. A lot of people have misconception with fentanyl. Everyone likes to talk about fake pills and all these poor people, da, da, da. Bro. Most of these people are smoking straight fent and they know what they're doing and they've been doing it, and it's all bullshit about the fake pills. Majority of the people that you see and hear that talk about they died of like fucking overdose from fake pills, no. You were smoking straight fentanyl,
For real?
and fentanyl is the kind of drug that it's really weird, bro. And I've seen this play out over the years because it's become normal in most circles out here.
Really?
Yeah, when I grew up, bro, like heroin addicts, like were you had to hide it. You know what I mean? Like you were shooting up, you were doing some dirty shit. Like it was like frowned
Mm.
upon completely. And now, like especially with the prevalence of like marijuana extracts being so big, people are used to seeing people with torches and different type of fucking like tools, and they put it in little dab containers and they hit that shit, and no one knows the difference and no one really understands that they're in a room with people doing that. People aren't dying from touching fentanyl with their hands. It's not what that is. One thing that I have noticed has tripped me out is that fentanyl, for some reason, when I've seen people use it, if they hold that shit in, they die. And it was explained to me that if you hold that in, like the amount of like intake of that drug that happens from more than a 3 second like inhalation hold, it like literally goes time 10 in terms of attacking your opioid receptors and everything else. And that's why these kids die so quickly. A lot of these kids will get addicted to something, get off it, spend a couple months clean.
Yeah.
Then they decide to relapse or start using again, and they assume that they still have the same tolerance levels they had before, and they take a normal hit in their eyes and die. Um, it's been an interesting ride, bro.
Yeah. What happened with Lil Peep, man? He died of fentanyl. Like, do you think did his label fuck him over, or was that just a freak
Okay,
accident?
look, no, let's be real. You can look at court documents that existed in the trial that just got settled, and I don't think people settle trials like that without some type of blood on their hands. Um, the way I look
Yeah.
at it is this: the kid overdosed. Okay, whether it be on fake pills or smoking that shit himself, which
Mm.
I know for a fact that these kids were at one point.
Oh fuck.
Uh, were they abusing other drugs through the entirety of the trip? This is the thing, bro. Your body is a vessel that can get destroyed by different things. So if you're up on, let's say you have the capabilities of taking fentanyl and being okay, it's just how you get high, right? But if you've been up for 3 days on cocaine and you've been hitting ketamine for fucking a month, 2 months straight previous to that, your body is not ready to take a lot to stay up like that and then take a large amount of fucking fentanyl and survive.
Yeah.
Um, Peep's body when the actual his body was at 87.1 degrees when they found him. The human body goes down in degree every like minute that you're dead. Um, so it kind of told me and his mother that he had been dead there for a good 6, 7 hours. Um, I've always kind of tell people this that like if you're gonna be around people that use drugs, you need to learn how to deal with an overdose. Overdoses are not deaths. Overdoses become deaths when they don't receive medical attention fast enough. If you OD and you call a fucking ambulance, and in most states in the United States, we have what's called safe harbor laws. So if you're with somebody in your house and they overdose, if you call the ambulance and invoke that safe harbor fucking clause, they can come to your house and save your friend, and you're not going to face any legal charges, regardless if you have fucking 100 keys of cocaine sitting right there. They legally cannot prosecute anything they come in and find.
Oh.
But these people get scared and they freak out, and then there's this panic, and nobody fucking calls the ambulance, and that's when we have dead kids.
Shit.
So if people had the balls and the fucking preparation, the fact that there's not Narcan on every tour bus, the fact there's not Narcan in the backstage of every concert, it's this disassociation the music industry wants to have with health.
Mm.
And a lot of it goes on to like when we talk about like liability issues. If I am a manager, whatever the case may be, and I do have Narcan everywhere, am I kind of saying that I know that that kind of drug use is happening around me, and am I liable for it at that point? A lot of these insurance policies with these like fucking concerts and everything else have clauses with mental health breakdowns and drug addiction that these labels understand and try to invoke from time to time. If you look at Peep's video when he had like a 20 Xanax in his fucking mouth previous to him dying in the bus, um, I firmly believe that that was not him trying to take that many Xanax. I think that was an attempt to invoke an insurance clause to end the tour right there. Um, and I know that to be true. It's just a lot of weird shit, bro.
Wait, wait, insurance clause? So like
If
how
you let's say this, let's say you have insurance on a tour and it has a mental health clause. So like if your client has a breakdown or a relapse of drug addiction, let's say that's in the paperwork that he can get off the tour and still be paid. Um,
oh
so I think a lot of shit that happens, bro, involves that.
and Pete knew
It's
that.
his management sure did. You had a documentary that didn't even mention the tour manager that was on the bus. His bus was stopped in the Canadian border, and his tour manager was found with a large amount of ketamine, and somehow got released shortly after and returns to tour directly after.
So people wanted
There's a
to get
lot.
out. People wanted to get out and then
He didn't want to
uh
be on that tour anymore.
shit and then they knew about that and they might have switched for drugs or something and he accidentally took fentanyl, you think? Something like that.
No, I think to be honest with you, me personally, I think the kid was smoking fentanyl raw.
Okay. He just
I
fucked
think they
up.
asked. This is the thing. I think they were asking for fake pills, and people don't want to accept that reality, bro. But like, let's say this. Let's say I'm a touring act, and I got like a lot of people bring people with them on tour specifically just to go get their drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what the person's job is, right?
Right.
Let's say I hand you $200 and tell you to go get me some fucking oxy or whatever the case may be, or some Xanax.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I'm just some broke fool that's on the bus and just needs money, right? Like, if the real stuff is gonna beat the $200, and if I can get
Mm-hmm.
fake shit and get it for like 10, $20 and pocket the 180, sounds like petty money, and it's insane that that's the amount of money that could risk someone's life. But yeah, like, that's what plays out. Um, and I kind of have a firm belief that's what happened. I think a lot of blame gets put on like Maria Bonds and a lot of these kids that supposedly
Yeah.
brought the drugs there. But what a dude, he was already dead by the time these kids get into these back in the back of that bus. And
Right.
they're consistently letting fans go to the back of this bus. Like I almost feel like it was an attempt to like fucking like kind of deflect the reality of the blame of the situation. But this is the thing.
Mm,
You know who's responsible for Little Peep's death? Gustav Fahar, him.
right.
And I think there's a level of personal responsibility that people do not want to put on these artists. But if you want to fucking be a fucking drug addict and you want to fucking take that kind of drugs constantly, and trust me, I've been there myself, you have to take personal responsibility for what you're doing. And if you aren't willing to take that responsibility, you have no fucking business using these drugs. In my life, I've been a cocaine addict. I've fucking been every type of addict I speak of, right? But I was always functional and I was always able to maintain my business acumen and keep my respect in that end. Have I had like mental health issues myself and breakdowns? Yeah, bro. I got fucking two kids I barely see. I'm not okay. Like, you know what I mean? That's just the reality of it. Um,
Sure.
no, yeah, being a father in this industry is a fucking trip, bro, because one of the situations I found with my baby mother and everything like that was that it became once we had kids, it became like I met her, she like slid in my DMs as Trapzilla, right? Like and so she got with Trapzilla, but then you know what? You wake up and you're with Adolfo Salazar. You know what I mean? And as my children were growing and I was more focused on being a father than being anything else, she started to resent anything I was doing with music because unfortunately or fortunately, when it came to music, I've never had a problem with getting girls' pants. You know what I mean? And it's kind of maybe be a sex addiction or whatever the case may be. I have fucked a lot of girls in my life, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And being loyal and being monogamous has just kind of never been something that I've been able to pull off for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Be low self esteem, abuse I faced as a child, or the case may be playing out later.
Oh shit.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, and I think most people in the creative spaces have these like dark childhoods that kind of created our
Right.
ability to, bro, like when you've gone through shit as a child and you kind of have to like almost like disassociate from the
Yeah.
realities of what's
Escape.
happening. Yeah,
Yeah.
that disassociation creates a superpower in your creativity, especially when it comes to creating characters and music. Because a
Mm.
lot of us are so troubled by the realities of ourselves and our own lives that we turn to the ability to create characters,
Right.
especially in social media that allows you to create these characters. I can't tell you how trippy it's been over the years to meet people that I see online be a certain way, and then in person, it's like, oh shit, that was like a programmatic like concept of marketing that you were going with right
For
there.
real? Like
I
who?
mean, like
Like who?
you're not that. Like you're, I mean, not even in a bad way, like to a certain extent, like you know what I mean. But like when you see these kids talk, like a lot of the social media, like a lot of these like SoundCloud kids, when
Yeah.
you see them on social media, they're one thing in person, whole other fucking person, bro. And
Yeah.
it gets weird. And then you have people that are character based, and then there's people that people assume are character based because like one of the main ones,
Riff Raff.
Riff Raff.
Yeah.
People assume that's a character, bro.
Yeah.
But the reality of Riff Raff is that he's from fucking Katy, Texas. His father is, right? But his mother is actually a fucking Jewish woman from upstate New York. That's family is actually one of the target heirs. His mother leaves New York, goes to Texas because she falls in love and gets kind of cut off from that. But over the summers, they would send Riff back to fucking New York to be with that side of the family. So imagine like you're poor in Katy, Texas, but in the summer you're around extreme wealth that's not yours, but you get exposed to it. And I think that's what
Oh,
became the character of Riff. He was a basketball player.
okay.
So he grew up around the Blacks and Acres homes and all these projects and everything like that. You know what I mean? So like he is an authentic black dude from Houston in a white body. It's a trip.
Okay, so he's like spending time at his dad's house and his mom's house, and one's rich and one's poor.
Exactly,
Okay.
bro. Like, you know what
How
I
was
mean? Like so
how was that? I just want to say, how was it touring with Riff Raff, bro? How was Riff Raff like in person and shit? Did y'all do a lot
bro,
of?
like this is the thing, bro. Like I learned more about this industry being that than I've ever had in any other scenario. The amount of major artists that would invite us over, like just to be there,
Yeah,
it was weird, bro. Everyone from Drake to Bieber, like you know what I
bro,
mean, like
you meet
yeah,
them?
yeah, bro. We party with
Bro,
these dudes, cons, yeah, bro. Like what nothing new. Like I
Beeps?
spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time with the Biebs, fucking sipping
Fuck
lean
it
the
up.
shit that over the years. Like his fucking drug dealers were all my friends here in
Oh
LA. You
shit,
know what I mean?
bro.
A lot of major people over the years, bro.
Damn,
I was doing coke with Ryan Phillippe when I was 14. You know what I mean? Like you really want to break down shit.
damn.
I managed all ages nightclub in Hollywood when I was 14 years old. So I was exposed to the industry and drug use in that world at a very early age. By the age of like 21, I was already kind of burned out from the club scene, which is like sounds hilarious to a certain extent now.
Damn.
Like I mean, you weren't even of age to get in, and you're already tired of it.
What are you
Uh,
doing at 14? You were managing kids?
no, at 14, I was managing an all ages nightclub called Arena Friday Nights. They
Mm,
were transitioning from a hip hop night to a EDM night, and I was a little raver kid. I sent a cold email to the owner of the club saying that, like, I don't know, bro. I was really early on. I was really good at emailing people I wanted to be involved
nice.
with and just being honest. And at this point, people opened every email. A lot of these kids don't even fucking use their email address at this point, bro. It's fucking nuts. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
But
um,
I saw some shit about Bieber, like that Diddy groomed him. I saw it on YouTube recently.
oh,
Is that shit real?
I don't know, bro. Like,
Real?
Diddy in and of himself is an interesting character,
Yeah.
bro. Um, my barber, rest in peace, Caesar was actually his barber. The
Oh shit.
parties in South Beach, and fucking Star Island and shit like that. If you speak to anybody in Miami or any of the industry that's been in this, it's no secret. the amount of like weird sexual shit going on there, the amount of extreme drug use, the whole nine yards. It's no secret.
Yeah.
Like there is no secret there. It's out in the open. It's just no one's kind of speaks on it because of the constant repercussions. And I think when we see that there was $1 million hit put on Tupac, and we're finally seeing people get arrested,
Yeah.
and the person that got arrested consistently said that like Diddy offered $1 million, but
Damn.
didn't pay it out. But didn't pay it out at the end, right? So is there criminal liability to putting out a hit on someone but not paying it? Because is that a defense in court, like that you didn't pay it? Like, what are you talking about? It that there's no money transfer.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so
Damn.
like the people aren't stupid, bro. They're not. And I think the most deviant people in this industry are some of the smartest.
Okay.
To get away with evil shit, you got to be a smart person.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Like, and they're not stupid, bro. Like, and there's always somebody that's a fall guy. There's always a certain level of like disconnect from that to that.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of my experiences with major artists, before you even get into the rooms with them, they take your cell phone, they make you sign NDAs, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, bro. Like, I've been in parties where like you're not bringing your cell phone, bro, and you're not. They're gonna check, and like
Bruh.
they have cell phone scramblers inside these places as well. Like,
Really?
but bro, it's not that hard technology, bro. Go to a spy shop any part of the country, you get a cell phone scrambler right there under the table, and
Damn.
with like 60 feet of you, there will be no cell phone transmissions.
Oh
I
wow.
I was involved in a lot of like the like higher end like drug dealing in terms of large amounts of weight. One of my precautionary measures that I personally took was to have a cell phone scrambler at my location because I believe that anybody that came in to rob, or whatever the case may be, would have to send some type of message to the people outside that were coming in next that it was clear.
Wow.
The cell phone scrambler like changed that concept a lot. A lot of times I would keep a security guard in a car outside of the location, and then like literally like call them and be like, "Oh, you down the block? Okay, yeah, they're in here. It's all good." Creating that air confusion is what creates the protection. I think they even use that in a lot of other situations. When we speak about grooming in the music industry, that's not a secret. You know what I mean? Like, but then let's define grooming here. Let's say you're 18, you have some talent, and I come up to you with some opportunity, be it just to record or learn or whatever the case may be.
Diddy was
But
like not 18 yet though, I think. He was like 17 or some shit. I saw this video with Diddy. But you can't talk about that or what?
I don't give a fuck, to be honest with you. Them motherfuckers don't scare me, I'll tell you that much. I mean, but I've been around people that worked in these production camps and like worked with all these people, and like I just know what time it is. I think I have had issues a lot of times in this industry because they understand that I will not play along.
Mm.
I will not like sell my morality short. I will not like sell my morals and ethics to any price point that exists.
Well, they try to
Um,
get you to do some weird shit
in
to
terms of
live
like
up.
manipulating, in terms of not to be so specific, but in terms of manipulating young artists and signing shitty deals and everything like that, yeah, I've definitely been approached and offered large amounts of money to do that because these kids trust me and love me, and they see that I will fuck with them regardless if they're popular or not. Um, it's been a while, bro. I've just been in the Forrest Gump of so many fucking situations over the years. You know what I mean? Just in the background. Um, but at this point now, bro, like my focus is just on developing young talent in
Yeah.
a non predatory way. Um, my end goal in this industry is to kind of end the bullshit and create like a record label artist development platform that is a non-profit based
Nice.
platform. And I think a lot of people don't understand one concept, and I would love for this to be something that will come out of this interview and take an artist and have them do some research to understand things in a proper level. Publishing rights and all that money that's in there, there's more revenue streams internally with music than people are privy to. If we look back around the early 1900s, I think 1930 or so, you start seeing when all the publishing houses and all these like the BMI, ASCAP, or everything when they get created, it's to collect royalties from like strip clubs, nightclubs, bars, restaurants. You have to pay a fee in order to play music like that. But this is the reality. Around $500 million every year go unclaimed in publishing money. So that money is all these independent artists, who case may be, that don't understand publishing, don't understand claiming their rights. Um, Congress passed a law. I think it was what, like 4 or 5 years ago, that was supposed to answer this question and do it right. But I think there's a simple fix here. When you're uploading music to DistroKid or TuneCore, or the case may be, why isn't the publishing rights already something that's implemented on the upload of music? They allow it to exist in this secondhand system that people don't know about in order to do that. The reality is that $500 million in what's called black box royalties every year is distributed to the top 1% of streaming artists. So the top 1% of streaming artists receive a check of a portion of that 500 million, depending on where they are in the streaming numbers. So go look at a fucking list of fucking, let's say, the top 100. Every single one of those motherfuckers is receiving a check for everyone that's not claiming the publisher. The fact that we don't have funding for music school programs, the fact that the labels don't have money supposedly for artist development and all kind of like, back in the day, bro, if you were a talented musician, they would sign you to a development deal, put you through professional training, vocal, fucking production, whatever the case may be, and turn you into that kind of artist. Now, bro, come here, give me the music. Is it done? Put it up. Let's see if it does anything. If it does, then we'll talk more.
Oh, okay.
There's no promotion. There's no fucking anything. When people tell me, "Oh yeah, I signed a distribution deal," okay, time out. What did you? What are they gonna do? Well, they're gonna distribute it. Okay, what do you mean distribute it? Well, they're gonna put it on all the DSP. Okay, that's fine. Now, how people are gonna find your music?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You have to understand playlisting. You have to understand going viral. You have to understand JVs. They have to take principles from the affiliate marketing industry and apply it to music in order for them to actually have success.
Okay.
And I think some of the best artists over the years understand that, and they've done it very well. If we look at people like Richard Kid and Soldier Boy have been extremely good at attaching themselves to young artists that are on the bubble up. And now that we have so much data that exists because everything's moved to digital, now I could see from a data perspective exactly who's on the rise. I can forecast where they're going with that. And I can identify who most young artists, when their first single kind of actually pops off and they're not signed or case maybe, send them a DM. They'll probably charge you like 200 fucking bucks for a verse,
Right.
$20 for a repost. And if they're bubbling, now all of a sudden your music's in front of all these A&Rs, the case may be. Is there money there in that little world? Yeah, but it's a job now.
Mhm.
It isn't they're funding your business. It's you're part of this machine now. A lot of these labels have gone real smart, and over the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of these label services companies coming off from these labels, everywhere from Warner to Virgin to Universal. They have these label service arms. And what they're doing is just creating different entities inside of their companies in order to fucking bill and invoice internally. So let's say I'm your manager, but I also own the publishing company. I also own the fucking assistant company. I also own this fucking company. I own a fucking mixing mastering company. I do production. So now I'm not only your manager. Now I'm gonna get the percentage for your production. I'm gonna get the
Uh,
percentage from your publicist. I'm gonna get the percentage from your lawyer. Now I can start taking more and more. Legally, you can't take more than 20% of somebody on a management contract, but I can sign you to a management contract and then charge you an extra 10% for your publishing, an extra 10% for fucking your publicist, an extra 10% for your day-to-day manager and everything else. But you see how they can start cutting that pie up more and more and more, and you
yeah.
as the artist just sitting there looking like an idiot. Yeah.
So how do you see if someone's bubbling or coming up? Like, is there, so there must be like a certain amount of plays or something. It's
Yeah,
probably
bro.
like, yeah.
Well, yeah, look at the viral charts to a certain extent. Start analyzing TikTok and everything else.
Mm,
Those numbers are very easy to identify.
okay.
Um, and then there's even like major like TikTok people that like get paid to post certain things. And when you're able to identify who's taking that money, you can start identifying where you can put that money. You
Okay.
know what I mean? That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
I think people need to learn to be students of this game as a marketing level just as much as they need to be students of this game as a music level. Because at this point, music, what is music? It's a product that's tailored to a very specific demographic, and
Mm,
it's something. If you have a certain product, you need to identify the profile of your customer,
right.
and
Target audience.
and yeah, and you got to start building your stuff to target that. When I was first starting out in EDM music, I started looking at things like how the fuck, like what do I do to be different here? So I was really into like SEO optimization at the time. So I
Oh, I
started
used
doing
to
a
do
lot
that
of
too.
I started doing a lot of research in terms of like certain songs and remix that are being searched on Google. So I batched out like the list of the top 100 searches that were song plus remix. I started making remixes to all those songs and uploading them and ranking number one in the search engines and YouTube for those things.
Nice.
And I saw an immediate growth in everything I was doing. Um, yeah, being programmatic and being a student of internet marketing will take you so far in the music industry people don't understand.
Yeah.
Um, and if we look at like a lot of people that are more on the underground or the internet that kind of control things in terms of manipulation, social media metrics, a lot of these distribution companies are starting to play that game too. I won't say what record label or what company is doing this, but I have personally walked into rooms with thousands of cell phones, thousands. And what's going on with these cell phones is that they're all different phone numbers and they're different fucking area codes and the whole 9 yards. When Spotify and other DSPs have these like password leaks, those passwords and usernames get used by these people on these cell phones. And all of a sudden, you have these unique profiles from all over the world streaming what you want them to stream.
Mm.
Having 10 to 20,000 cell phones doing that on a constant basis, you could already see how that would affect the numbers internally of these systems.
Shit.
They're very, very easily manipulated. And if you understand how to cloak it, as people in the affiliate industries have,
Okay.
I've done a lot of shit in the dating ad space. I've done a
Oh,
lot
I
of
did
shit.
that too. I did
Yeah,
that
so you
too.
understand how to cloak shit properly.
Cloaking
Yeah,
face on Facebook, right? Did you cloak on Facebook? Facebook ads?
I did a lot of that shit, bro. Like,
Fucking hell, that shit was hard.
yeah,
They
I'm
banned
actually
me a lot.
yeah, bro. Like I was really big in a lot of like internet marketing forums over the year, from Black Hat World and
Black Hat,
Fire.
yeah,
Yeah, bro. Like, and I think the people that come from that little world
yeah,
are like my family.
gang.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I'm part of that game more than I
Yeah,
am anything else. A lot of those people have moved into the crypto spaces and stuff like that, and that's kind
yeah.
of where it exists now. You know,
Same motherfuckers. Like, you're talking about like split testing and buying ad
mm-hmm,
placements and shit like that, right? Yeah,
traffic is traffic, bro, and if you know how to navigate that traffic in a specific demographic that's performing well, do it and do it hard.
yeah.
Um, people, I've seen recently. I saw something that was kind of troubling to me, but there was an artist that I know that the label that she was working with was running dating ads on Bumble, and like it was just a dating ad with the girl's like photo and all her information on there, and like the messages were going out. We're like, hey, I like your profile, blah blah blah. You seem really cool. Come check out my profile, and then they go to the profile and she's a musician. Um, and
Uh,
you see how the target trafficking will go there when a young, good-looking musician is all of a sudden your DM saying, "What's up?"
damn.
If you're a dude on a dating app, which usually means that you're fucking on a good one, you're fucking got a hard dick trying to find some shit, right? Yeah, and a young woman hits you up like that. Well, it's
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna go listen to all the fucking music and I'm gonna fucking try to
Mm.
participate and
Oh
the whole night.
shit, that's genius.
But but what happens? This is the thing though. Like when you do that, what are you doing to the future of that artist? Because
No.
that fan base you're creating, are those really fans, or are you creating for music? Or are you creating something that would be good for an OnlyFans or some shit like that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, there's a fine line with all this shit. Like, it's
It's gotta be weird at a show as well. When all these
it,
Sims
it,
pull up
she
and like,
hasn't even gone
yo,
on tour yet. She hasn't gone on tour yet, so we're gonna see.
it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, bro, I have like a hard time like dealing with young artists that like they get so addicted to any type of metric. Let's say you've been working on music really hard for a good part of your life and you didn't like have any motion, and all of a sudden you're having motion from this advantageous marketing concept. You get off on it. The endorphin rush starts happening.
Mm.
People are listening. Oh fuck! It's like no, bitch. Like that they're not listening for that. Like like you're
Oh,
not getting. You know what I mean, like they're checking you out. Like you become potential like fucking people that I was like have sex with. You know what I mean? Like so people will get addicted to the music, whole 9 yards. But then you create like fucking weirdos in that concept. Because now you have stalkers. Now you have people DMing you, and if you are not protective of your name or any connection to your name online, it's not that hard to find someone's information based on their social media profiles. I'll fucking have your fucking home address and phone number in 10 fucking minutes if I wanted to, if you have a social media profile that you're not protective of. Um, Internet research is powerful if you know how to do it. I think most people just don't know how to do it, and it's it's something people need to understand and learn. You want to be a music artist, be a marketer first, bro.
Right.
Uh,
I didn't
yeah,
know it's I didn't know it went hand in hand that much, man. Like internet marketing. But I guess it's the same for everything. Clicks are
music,
clicks.
yeah, music is just an offer, bro. That's all you're
Mm,
doing. You're just an
right.
offer.
Yeah.
You
That's
know what I
some
mean?
proper
Like,
scam shit, bro. Fucking
it's
Tinder profile. Jesus.
no, bro. You could go a lot of different ways with it, bro.
Yeah.
Very early on in my life in internet marketing, I was very heavily involved in spamming social media profiles all over. I would have like 20,000 fucking profiles of fake girls, the whole 9 yards. When I was doing like fucking more of the dating and like fucking like adult stuff. Um,
Yeah.
and
It's
during these
crazy.
days, people didn't really understand the concept of like fake profiles. Now people are way more privy to it. But like in 2010, bro, I could fucking PHP inject fucking shit into MySpace and fucking direct message millions of fucking people. When we were 15, me and my
Yeah.
friends did that. We sent every 15 to 18-year-old girl in the United States when we were 15 as well. So they don't people don't cut that up and make it
I
seem
feel
like I
you.
was being. Um, Dude, for years our parties were packed with people that came from those messages, and the message I sent out was just "What's your story?" That was it, just three
Oh
words.
shit.
Bro? You do that to a million people, the kind
Oh
of messaging that comes back, it's like people are lonely out there, bro, and don't get asked questions like how they're doing or what's their story and shit like that. And I think some of the best artists that have been good marketing wise have connected with their fan bases online, going on live, talking about their mental health issues, helping their fan bases kind of get through that.
mm,
People are looking for mentors. They're not necessarily looking so much for artists at this point. You know what I mean? They want someone to attach themselves to. They
yeah.
want some, they want someone that is like them and can be part of their lives and really acts like they care. You know what I mean? And do they care? And do they give a shit? Some of them do. Some of them don't. And some people just figured out that's a good marketing tactic to say the least, bro.
Mm,
Like I think we're not in a purist form anymore, bro.
yeah.
To make music back in the day, there was a ceiling. You had to have enough money for equipment. You had enough money for this. Had to have some professional training. Now, Fruity Loops and all these other fucking like DAWs that exist, bro. Like you're not learning how to produce music. You're learning how to use a computer program and you're learning to manipulate that program. And most of these kids are using templates and fucking splice files, the whole 9 yards. A lot of major artists just buy beats from people and rename them. You know what I mean? Like it's most major producers. I mean, a lot of them have been caught in situations where they think they're insulated from it, but I don't want to say the exact band, but like there's a major band in the let's say like goth rap or whatever the case may be, and so they're one of the larger ones. But I started looking into like Russian beat like fucking stores, and I started looking for specific like words that I had noticed in certain things, and I started searching, and I found that a lot of like major artists are just buying beats from international kids through these platforms and releasing it as their own music.
Oh shit.
Uh, and then in the EDM world, bro, like I spent a lot of time with Diplo, I spent a lot of time with Carnage, I spent a lot of time with a lot of these major acts, and all of them had ghost producers.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
They had groups of them. So like we have a whole generation of producers that created these sounds that are kind of like generifying and bounce back and forth from that kind of stuff
Okay.
that historically will never have any respect or anything because their names on anything. Internally in the industry, do we all know that these people were involved? Yeah, of course. Do they are at this point financially well off or anything the case may be? No.
Mm,
I know people that have had number one singles, bro, got $5,000 buyout on the beat,
yeah.
and it's just the short well, shit, bro. If you don't have $1 in your pocket, bro, and someone offers you 5 grand,
Yeah.
did you get fucked over or did you get help? And
Right.
I think that you know what I mean because at first it was not a promise that that was going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I feel
And
you.
if someone's willing to put up 5,000 for you, you know, I mean, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when those songs blow up and they do get big, that's when people get pissed off and start acting like they got fucked over.
Yeah.
But it's like, bro, you made that beat in 2 hours.
Right.
We gave you $5,000 cash for 2 hours.
Yes.
Give
Stop
me
complaining, bro.
find me a job that's gonna pay me $2,500
Right.
an hour, and I'll work a 9 to fucking 10 if you want me to, bro.
Because they did like the marketing and the build up a brand image and fucking all that
Yeah,
shit. And you just made
they're
the beat,
fucking
like chill out.
well, yeah, and then make the beat, and then a lot of people get pissed off at the songwriters. You know what I mean? Well, I wrote that song and da 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 da, but like,
Mm.
yeah, you wrote it, but where was it gonna go after that? Like,
Right, exactly. Well, it's the same with because you're talking about Diplo as ghost producers. I know that, but like, is it the
he
same
knows that.
like yeah, like with Drake or whatever? Like with rappers, he finds the artist and then shoves them and makes them write shit. Is this the same? Does it work the same with rappers?
Fuck yeah, most of these dudes don't write their own shit. Most of them. Um, when you see an artist that is like really big and like let's say just raw hip hop, and then all of a sudden you hear them singing in a melodic way,
Mm, yeah, of
yeah,
course, yeah.
yeah, bro, no, like,
But
and
what's
it's not,
go for it?
it's just, bro, like these dudes, like you could be, dude, I know good writers that take fucking ghost writers because, bro, like some people are just really good. You know what I mean? Why not get involved?
But you know 6ix9ine, right? You guys met
Yes,
when he was
that
younger? Yeah.
more than that, Daniel was a good friend of mine at one point.
How old was he? Like, was that before he blew up?
Oh yeah, I've known Daniel since he first started fucking with Scum Gang with the Zillakami and all them. I had a back and forth with Zillakami very early on in his career because he had tweeted something about I'm the only Zilla, blah blah blah. I was like,
Oh
I hit
shit.
him and I hit
Yo,
him
man.
up. I'm like, bro, you know how long I've been using this fucking name? I'm like, um, but no, we became good friends on that end. And then when Daniel came to Los Angeles the first time, we met up. And then when he came again afterwards, when he was already kind of bubbling, he came to my house. We recorded a bunch of songs as well. I got about like 6 tracks of his in the pocket.
Oh, bro, you need to show
But
me,
Daniel
man.
didn't. But Daniel didn't write his own music at all either.
Yeah,
Trife
Zillakami.
Drew.
Okay.
No, Trife Drew wrote
Mm.
everything. Um, and they don't really like discuss it or talk about it, but like one time when he was recording at my house, I noticed that on his phone, Trife is sitting over here and Daniel's like over here recording, and Trife is on his phone texting. And I'm noticing that as Daniel's recording, he's looking at his phone and then looking over, and then it's like, bro, like I don't care. Like, why are you guys
Bro,
doing
I see what's
this?
going on.
Yeah, bro. Like,
Not bad.
this is a thing, bro. I've always been very protective and very like biased when it comes to kids that I know come from low socioeconomic backgrounds that come from
Mhm.
minority backgrounds here in
Yeah,
the United States. Um, this is a very racist country. This is a very classist country. The
yeah.
opportunities that, like anywhere else in the world, bro, if you have money, your opportunities are bigger. This is what it is. I can't tell you how many kids I've encountered over the years that are just the children of rich people that want to get in this industry,
Okay.
and they force themselves into it. Like there's one kid that people don't realize has such a profound effect on music of the last couple of years, and that's been Travis Barker's son. Travis Barker's son is pretty much like picked and choose who he's wanted to work with his father for the last couple of years. And it's kind of been the who's who of a lot of shit. And you know what I mean? Like, so
Oh,
he's been a tastemaker for a lot of times.
no.
A lot of these like big social media people have become tastemakers that get to define genres and everything else like that as well. Um,
Wait, how long was 6ix9ine Honey Pot for? Because I heard you talking to Adam 22 about 6ix9ine
okay,
being a Honey Pot.
this is my theory here with all this, and like I know this to be true. That kid had gotten popped before everything started. And a lot of people don't understand when you get arrested or anything like that, you're
Yeah.
given the opportunity to cooperate if it involves a large amount of drugs. If you're facing like a 20-year sentence for what you're found, and they tell you, hey, we're not going to put you on paperwork as a snitch, but you're going to provide us with information that allow us to continue certain investigations. I think it's pretty obvious now at this point that that's kind of what was going on to a large
Yeah,
extent.
man.
And I think his motivations to cooperate had a lot to do with the fact that those dudes were fucking his baby mama. kidnapping him, attempting to kill him in the whole 9 yards. So when people start using that whole concept, they snitch in the whole 9 yards. Um, let's have someone fuck the shit out of your baby mother, take all your fucking money, kidnap you, and then you're supposed to go to court and fucking like back these dudes up. I don't know like what world these people live in.
Yeah.
My ethics and loyalty begin and end with your ethics and loyalty.
Cause
If
he
you know what I mean,
yeah.
like I can't do something for you, you're not gonna do for me.
I feel
You know what
you.
I mean?
Yeah.
And would these people have taken the rap on that end? Hell no. Um,
Cause he
and
got
dude,
busted with heroin or something, right?
mhm. And
And
I think the reality is here is in over the course of history, especially in New York, um, the NYPD knows that these rap groups are funded by local gangs. A lot of these rappers become the figureheads of their local hoods, whatever the case may be. Um, and they also know that those are the kind of people that are very afraid to lose their ability to fucking do things in a certain extent.
mm,
Um, we look historically, 50 Cent, Jim Jones, these people have been informants. People have
really?
snitched. Oh, you look it up. It's there, bro. Like all these dudes talk.
But
I think it,
yeah. Wait, go for it.
I think I think people like kind of just don't understand the level of cooperation that happens with law enforcement with any mass media protocol. If we look at propaganda concepts historically, bro, like the radio, the TV, and everything else have always been the infection point of propaganda. Is there a benefit to the prison industrial complex here in the United States that depends on young black and other
Mm,
colored men to go to jail on a consistent basis to keep police, the
yeah.
jail system, the probation system, the fucking
Mm.
rehabilitation systems in point? And if they're not constantly getting new people into these systems, they fall and they're not funded, and then no one makes money.
That's why they all
So
get face tats and shit, right? As well. That's why they promote that so they don't get jobs and then people get locked up.
well, you know, I think there's latent and then there's just obvious reasons, right?
Right, right.
But like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, does that have that effect at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, it does. Um, just dangerous game. And my advice to everybody in this music industry shit is if you don't love making music and are okay with doing it at home and listening to yourself, it's not for you. If you're here to do business and you want to make yourself rich, like you got this shit fucked up. Um, I had a conversation with the producer that I managed yesterday because, bro, like this kid is a great producer, makes amazing beats. But you ask him who his favorite artist is, he, there is no answer. Who's your favorite producer? I don't know any other producers. I'm like, bro, like, where, like, do you like this music shit? Like, or are you a fan of this at all? Because you're like scaring me how little. Like, how about you? You familiar with Drake Yo? Drake
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ruler.
Yeah.
Okay, look,
Of
I
course.
sent this one producer. I have this new girl that I'm working with. Her name
Mm.
is Flocka Brick Baby. Shit, she's an amazing artist. She's a young 18-year-old Mexican girl from here in the valley, in San Fernando Valley here in California. I've been working with her for a little bit now, and I'm very excited to see where she goes. But I had my producer kid. I was like, "Yo, I need to make some beats for her," but she's like kind of raps like Drake, so I need you to kind of like listen to his catalog. This motherfucker, like 5 minutes later, sends me a screenshot of like the Drake song with Drake Yo. And I'm like, bro, I'm like, you just like, I'm like, do you not realize like how left field you just went with this?
uh
Like, yeah, that wasn't what I was telling you, Dick. Like, I was telling you to fucking go listen to like Flute Flamin' and shit like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Like, horror shit. Um, and I think, bro, like if we listen to the radio right now, especially in hip hop, like once you reach the plateau of success, all the music starts sounding the same. It's the same producers, the same engineers, everything else. There's not much difference to any of this shit anymore. There's a very formulaic structure to go viral online. There's a very formulaic structure to go viral on TikTok. Um, and I think a lot of people have misconceptions on TikTok numbers too, because everyone assumes it's like the dances and all that shit. No, it's the random fucking video of like praying mantises fighting each other to the death that have a song in the background that have the most effect
Oh,
on. That's the key
oh, for
here.
real?
Yeah, everyone's so fucking heavily focused on these little dances and shit like that. Well, that's a fucking smoke and mirrors because the way those numbers really get popped up is like with like a UFC fighter posting a knockout video with your song in the background. You want to get some plays? Go find
Mm.
random TikTok accounts that have millions and millions of plays, but don't really have any meaning but a funny video. Message that fucking person. Offer him free music to put up there, or whatever the case may be. And then your fucking numbers are about to explode on TikTok. And like these labels, they're looking at that more than anything else. So when they get that batched out file of the top 10, 15 songs that are trending on TikTok,
Oh,
you're getting targeted at that point.
so hit up.
Um, understand metrics,
Yeah.
understand marketing. Go to forums like Black Cat World. In, inundate and completely immerse yourself in internet marketing concepts. Treat your music as a product and an offer that you can put out there on a consistent basis. Use programmatic marketing and display advertising, video ads. One of the ways that I got really big at first with the EDM stuff was I literally made a video of just clips of like fucking these raves I was playing, and then I targeted all my competition in the genre and the trap style genre on YouTube. So any video that you're watching on YouTube of somebody that made similar music to me, in the beginning of it, you would get my ad on YouTube with 30 seconds you're forced to listen to of my song. A lot of times what would happen is that people wouldn't even realize they were listening to another song and would just let let the song continue to play to the end and
Mm.
completely not understanding that they did not get the song they asked for. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
like,
Okay.
there's a lot of ways to do this. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody has further questions on shit like that, like
So,
maybe
so you put a different name on a song? Oh,
no. You if you're doing YouTube video ads,
yeah.
you target specific videos, right? So like let's say I'm a hip hop act and I'm gonna target all of like Drake the Rulers videos on YouTube. Now I can put a 30-second video ad in front of that shit, and everyone that's going to these things is looking for the Drake thing, right? But what if the artist
Mm.
is similar to Drake and is gonna appeal to that demographic?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of an easy way to start targeting shit like that, bro. Is by finding
Right.
people that you look for fan bases that you want attached to yours, and start learning how to get your music and imagery in front of those people. I think people really need to start being more in tune with marketing if they want to be artists. You don't get to just be a musician anymore. It doesn't work that way. You have to be a marketer first and foremost. You have to be a sharp negotiator, and you have to be a fucking tech wizard at this point to really. I can look at you in the eye and say, "Yeah, you're gonna make it." And if you don't understand those concepts and you have no desire to, good luck, because even if you do make it, you're gonna end up with some deal that you don't know how to manipulate. When record labels offer you $100,000 budget for your videos and like say $100,000 of studio time, yeah, you can go spend that money on that. But why don't you just set up a home studio with a fraction of that money, invoice yourself to the labels, collect that money? Um, have videos. Let's say you got $50,000 budget, film that shit on your iPhone and do it for fucking free, and put that $50,000 in your pocket. A lot of people don't understand how to do that. A lot of recording studios are very good at helping people do that, where they have budgets with these majors and they'll like triple charge what it is, and then they'll split that extra money with the artist. So like, if you want to make money in this shit, like you gotta get a little bit shady. That's why drug dealers do so well in the music industry. Very similar concept. Um, Hip hop artists in general are very good at that. When I was selling a lot of marijuana, most of my clients came from my tour Riff Raff in small cities in the United States and Midwest. Because who throws a mid-level hip hop concert in like Tulsa, Oklahoma? It's gonna be a fucking drug dealer every time,
Right.
consistently. When I went to Australia on a 16 city tour, I swear to God to you, every single promoter was trying to get me to ship them cocaine to Australia. And I would just be like, "You guys fucking nuts? Like, I'm good, bro. Like, you don't understand, mate. It's fucking like $5,000 an ounce, mate. You gotta understand. Like, and dude, it is because Australia doesn't have ports like that. There's like 2 ports in all of fucking Australia. So like their ability to control what comes in and out is much different than other countries. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's my thoughts there on that one.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah. So what else?
Well, wait. What did you say about the tattoos? Said it's like it's blatant or
Well,
obvious. What would you
well,
say?
yeah, this is like Saluditas, you know what I mean?
Oh no
Like
no 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 the face tats. I said like, what's the
oh
reason behind?
face tat. You know what face tats are, bro? You know what they are? Christ for help. Um, nine
Mm,
times out of ten. Um, but the thing is too, bro, it's
damn.
also like it's a signaling effect to like people that like you're all in. It's like once you get that
Yeah.
face tat, like this fool's serious. You know what I mean? Like this fool actually wants to get some shit done. I've almost gotten a bunch of face tats.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
I thought
and
about it.
it's like, bro, like for what? Like,
Yeah.
I like to be able to put on a long sleeve shirt, some fucking suit, and be able to
Yeah.
walk into some corporate situations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
C-
you gotta know how to put the costume on, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was asking if that's a reason, if a labels try to get people to the black community to not be able to get jobs and shit.
Um, no, but I almost feel like these kids do it on purpose so that they start taking it that serious because they know they're never gonna get a job after
Right, right.
that. You know what that's what I really feel it is. Is there a lot of shady A&Rs and marketing people that exist internally at these labels that are like doing weird shit? Like, yeah, bro, of course there is. But this is the reality: is that the music industry at this point right now isn't what it was before. When they sign you to a deal, and let's say the deal's worth like $1 million, what case may be, it used to be where the label was put up that money. But now, like Merrill Lynch and a bunch of other investment companies have internal offices at all major labels. Your record deal is a loan. So it's
Mm,
just if Warner signs you to a deal, Warner just took out a loan with the company and is now mitigating their risk financially with you because it's a loan that has stipulations on both ends. You know what I mean? So it just gets real tricky, bro. Like,
yeah. 360
um,
deals. Lil
yeah, bro.
Yachty.
Yeah, they
The
don't
fuck?
even want these. A lot of people they don't even want your 360 deals anymore because these dudes got so used to taking cash. Let's take actually on 360, right? But every city you go to and you play, you're playing these after parties and the concerts, and you're just taking cash. How does a label get your money at that point?
Right.
And he gets to get, and that's kind of why we are in the 90-10 deal era of this shit. You know what I mean? Like it's wild. Most people are on 90-10 deals. It's crazy.
What do you think about Tupac? Was he a CIA agent? Did he really die? What do you think about that?
That motherfucker's dead as fuck, dog. You know what I mean? Like, that got smoked. That's what happens. Fuck around and beat somebody up in front of a fucking casino.
Casino, yeah.
And they're known gang members. You think they're just gonna sit there and allow that to happen? No, bro. You're gonna get fucking shot. It is what it is. People get back, bro. Like you know what I mean. Like you hit somebody, you do something. Like yeah, it's gonna happen right back to you. That's why I
Yeah.
always have kind of problem when people like try to glorify or get all sad about certain like artists. Like, bro, people have bodies, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Like that dude killed people. You think that was gonna come back to him? This world is very fair in reality, bro. Fuck around, you're gonna find out. It's like when people try to say that like foreign countries are dangerous. Let's say like Tijuana or things in like Southeast Asia. It's like, bro, you know when it's dangerous? When you're looking for cocaine and hookers in bad places.
Oh man, tell
You
me about
could
it.
you could do that in any city in the world. Go look for the underworld elements that are illegal things. You're gonna run into people that are willing to do bad things for you. And that just it is what it is. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
There's a video of Lil Pump recently talking to Sneeko and saying he had to do like some satanic ritual or something before it blew up. Do you know much about that?
All the South Florida kids were involved in Palo
Mm,
ceremonies and shit like that. I'll let everybody do their own research on what that kind of entails. But bro, like most of them have these like ladies that are their spiritual guides, or the case may be. There's a very deep Haitian, indigenous, like African influence to most of these children in these areas. Um, Getting involved with like Santeria and shit like that, Palo, or the case may be, is common to them. It's not like anything out of the ordinary. A lot of dudes that like commit murders or facing murder charges, or the case may be, get deep into that as well. It's it's up to someone's personal belief system on whether like that's real or not. And I think the more belief you have for that kind of stuff, the more real it gets. Um,
right.
I personally have such like a strong belief in like certain things that like I just don't play with certain stuff.
Mm.
Like when I see things being done outside of that prism, I just know there's always a trade off, bro. Like when people say sell your soul or whatever, like all you're doing is selling your future. You know what I mean? And like there's a saying in like Egyptian culture that like there's two times when a person dies, when you physically die, and then the last time someone on earth says your name. And when you die in such a traumatic fashion in the music industry, did you just kind of become eternal? Because people are going to be talking about you for the rest of history.
Oh,
Um, like you know what I mean?
oh
Like
shit.
so, yeah. So like you gotta understand that some people are looking at it like that and are come from troubling backgrounds and lives they don't want to continue to live anymore. So if they could die at this pinnacle of success, they will live forever in that sense. Everyone has their own perspective of the afterlife, what happens after we die. And as an artist, you continue to exist in this dimension because you're consistently being talked about.
Oh,
Um, Peeps still like Peeps asked, bro, like had a lot of weird situations like just where like it's like is this fucker like here or like you know what I mean? Like it's
bro.
just like been a lot of weird shit, bro. Like it's kind of tested my sanity
What
to a
what
lot of time.
what did you see, bro?
It's like weird shit, bro. Like fucking like a hand print on the wall that reminds me of his hand. Like weird shit, bro. Like it could all be coincidence. You know what I mean? Like and I hold that. But like some things have just been like the reason I sold my house where everybody was kicking it at for so long, bro, is like I would have like these situations where lights would go off randomly and go back on, like just like really weird shit, bro. Like I was just like, you know what, like I'm out, dog. Like I'm good. Um, but that's not me believing in it. It's just me like seeing something happening and me not wanting to be around it. My house caught on fire the day before I fucking closed escrow on it. You know what I mean? In the unexplained fire in the backyard. No one
Before
knows
you
about
what?
that.
Before you what?
Right before when my house was about to close escrow, which was
Oh,
getting sold,
yeah.
literally the day before that night, there was like an electrical fire in the back house and it went on fire. Um, I got investigated for arson and everything
Damn.
else
The fuck?
because my insurance policy was still active, so I did receive more money than I normally would have had selling the house. So like I went to investigation there, got cleared, whatever. You know what I mean? I didn't light my house on fire. How I lit on fire, who fucking knows? You know what I mean? It's still a question for me today.
Damn.
Yeah, but it's just sometimes, bro, you gotta get out, you gotta move away from like your childhood homes and everything else. I made the mistake coming back and buying my childhood home when my mother died.
Damn.
Sometimes it's just time. Sometimes you gotta just move on from locations, bro.
Yeah.
Um, you seem to travel a lot yourself.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I think when you come up, it's hard to, you don't want to stay in bad areas and shit.
You don't
Like
want to stay around the
crabs.
people that, yeah, bro, because they don't want you to come up like a
Yeah.
motherfucker. Like especially here in the United States for Latin artists, for Mexican artists, for basically in the rap industry, they all hate each other.
Right.
Collaboration amongst them is very minimal. Like with Riff Raff, he would get so offended if he would like compare it to another white rapper. Like he's
Yeah.
like, no, bro, like I'm a fucking rapper. I'm not a white rapper. I am a fucking rapper. And you can either embrace your cultural identity or you can run from it. It's up to you, right?
What how did Riff Raff become like such a character that he is? Like, did he have like some fucked up, I don't know, like I think he's interesting. He has like
He was he was an ecstasy dealer in Houston for a long time.
mhm.
He also painted cars, played basketball, was immersed in these cultures. Freestyling in Houston is like something that's extremely important. You there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm here, bro.
Freestyle, just the freestyle culture from Swisher House was something that really grabbed on.
Yeah.
His first manager was OG Ron C. From Swisher House. He did all the cut and screw tapes and shit like that. So I was exposed with him to a very early time to the recording industry at a high level out there in Houston. Texas is different than most. Very set concert structure, very set hierarchy of people involved. You got to go through these channels to make it anywhere. Like it's a trip. But yeah,
Yeah, you guys probably did a lot of coke, man.
no, we did a lot of coke. Of course we did. We love
Man.
cocaine.
Yeah,
But
me
that's
too,
when
bro.
coke was good. Now it's all fucking trash, killing people. You know what I mean? Like I had national fentanyl in my coke. You know what I mean? Like it's different. Like um, I think
Damn.
cocaine is one of the more misunderstood drugs because there's abuse, and then there's you just
Mm.
do a couple of bumps when you're drinking at a fucking nightclub. And who's to say that's wrong?
It's pretty normal, right? Everyone does that shit.
It's beyond normal. Like it's what they love it. Everyone fucking loves it. That's stupid all they want. I don't know how
Yeah.
many people. Yeah, it's been crazy.
You traveled much, bro? You been around the
Yeah,
world?
bro. I've all Australia, a lot of Latin American countries, most of Mexico, the entirety of the United States, which I think people don't realize how different every state in the U.S. is. California is nothing like Montana. New York is nothing like Oklahoma. There's different cultures, different concepts, different legality structures, different things. I mean, here in California, I can get ketamine, I can get fucking marijuana, I can get fucking mushrooms or anything else, and pretty much walk it into a random fucking doctor's office or a fucking like sesh or whatever the case may be. There's open air drug markets everywhere. Um,
Yeah,
Pretty
well,
wild.
um, I wanna ask one more thing. With sacrifices, bro, like why in these cultures, what does the sacrifice do? Does it like give you good luck or something before you go on a certain
Well,
path?
in Palo, like the concept is that if the ceremony is done in a certain way, that person's soul becomes your dominion. They become the power structure of your spirituality. You know what
Mm,
I mean? Like a lot of these things are invoked. Like, is this something that is real? I think most occult stuff is as real as you accept it to be real.
okay.
And the more you accept it to be real, the more it kind of manifests into reality of your life. So that's why I always kind of tell people, you can play with that shit, go for it, but like, there's no repercussions. You know what I mean? Like, and it is what it is. I think some people are willing to sell off their morality and their concepts of being a good person to achieve a certain level of success that they're so desperate for. Desperation is like the mother of evil, bro. Like dead
Yeah.
ass. Like when you're desperate for money, desperate for fame, you're willing to do things that you probably wouldn't normally be able to do before. You know?
Yeah. Is there much like you've been to these Hollywood parties, right? Is it true they have
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of pedophilia and weird shit like that going on there?
Fuck yeah, there is, bro. Like when I was like 15, 14 years old in Hollywood, bro, like especially in like the Latin gay scenes in the house music world, um, it's was totally normal for like a 15-year-old gay Latino kid to have like a 50-year-old like white boyfriend that was
Damn.
mentoring him for a
Mentoring.
certain extent, taking the runaways into their homes and providing them with like life and guidance and everything else. Um, there's a lot of good people in that mix too that do that and aren't having sexual relationships with these people. But is it still okay for you to take in a 15-year-old runaway to kind of fucking like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, it gets kind of dark.
Yeah.
Um, I
Shit.
think I think in gay culture in Los Angeles and other parts of the world, that little concept of that mentorship of like a 14, 15-year-old boy with the older man isn't looked at as like that wrong.
Right.
And I think we look historically in other cultures, everything from the Greeks to the Romans and everything else. Historically, that has played out
Yeah.
consistently throughout time. And I think we are foolish to look at history and not see its effect on the future. Being in a culture of slavery here in the United States, it's not
Mm.
so out of the question why there is such predatory contracts in the creative fields.
Mm.
It usually is owned by older white people, older Jewish people, or what the case may be. And the artists, for the majority of the part, are minority people that come from low socioeconomic backgrounds. So, is it easy for someone in that vein to take advantage of people that are have-nots? Yeah, bro, very.
Damn.
You
So
know what
the
I mean?
so the
It's
Lil Pump fuck a old dude?
No, bro. No, Pump, no. Pump's a crazy motherfucker. I will shoot a motherfucker before that happens. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, no, that kid's with the business, bro. I'll tell you that much. Like, it's up to him to tell stories of his past. But
Okay.
that
Yeah.
kid, bro, that kid's with it, bro. Like, he's one of the non-fake ones of that
Oh yeah?
bunch.
He seems
Yeah,
like a
like,
cool guy.
yeah, bro, he's real. I've watched that kid fucking like check people like twice his size and
Yeah.
behind. You know what I mean? because he's not playing, bro. Like, he's one of
Bro.
the few that can say with a straight face is a real fucking man.
Nice.
And like, and people trip out on that. Like, what do you mean? Like, fuck, I'm like, no, bro. Like, yeah, like that kid's not playing. Like,
For
he like,
real?
yeah, yeah,
Damn.
play games till you all you want, bro. But I'm fucking gonna shoot you in the right
He put in work.
scenario.
Shit.
Yeah, bro, he's
Yeah, for real?
real. Yeah, bro, he's real. I'll say with a straight face, bro. Like now, he has no reason to be like that. When he was a little knucklehead at fucking 14,
He
13, and
yeah. He caught a
yeah,
case. He caught a case,
uh,
and that's how.
well, you don't catch cases in Florida. People die
Okay.
every day in Florida. Be
Yeah.
In Atlanta too. It's different, bro. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, bro, people get shot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
But
people are afraid.
I mean, because you said like the label has to have to hold something above your head for you to reach that level of fame, right? Like every
Mhm.
rapper, every famous person that does something fucked up, like in order to get.
Or there's a big enough bag thrown your way that you play along. Remember this: the Pump was first signed to Warner underage. When he turned 18, the original contract turned out to be invalid because he wasn't 18 at the time of signing it. His legal guardian wasn't present, and none of that. So he was able to keep his signing bonus from the first deal and re-sign a new deal that offered pretty much double.
Yeah.
Um, and then we got to start when you look at these kids and their ages, bro. Like the kind of situation, like Pump's 18th birthday, like 15th, 17th, 16th, 17th birthday was in a strip club. You know what I mean? Like there's this fine line and there's
Mm,
just like this openness to allow these kids to do whatever the fuck they want to keep them happy. But the thing is that these kids are making music that doesn't really have the sonic elements, doesn't really have the structural lyrical elements or like frequencies or case may be that are common in pop structure. But then they're able to achieve these high levels of success that it's just like they understood how to hack this shit. Hacking isn't necessarily that I know how to program and infect shit, but like if you could look at anything and break it down to cause and effects of things that you have access to, you're a hacker. I try to hack everything from a woman's brain to an
mm.
artist's brain. You know what I mean? Like it's a it's a manipulation concepts in every relationship, and I think the word manipulation has been given a bad
Yeah.
air when the reality of it is the manipulation is just sales skills, bro.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like if I have to fucking put my sunglasses on and a backwards hat and talk to you in a little New York accent to get you to do what I want you to do, that's manipulation. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, we as a culture and industry need to stop looking at that word as such a bad thing. It's
Yeah.
not.
I was thinking
It's
about that, man. Like doing
it's
good
not.
business is, yeah, is also like a
Isn't
form of
that
manipulation.
bro? Of course it is. It's like it's because people that do good business sure to make sure you know how good the business they do is and how they're not like everybody else. And just that
Right.
conversation,
Exactly.
is a manipulation, bro.
Yeah.
A lot of these dudes are using the long game concepts of this shit. So like, let me fuck
Yeah.
you. Let me let you get an advantage here in the beginning, and tell you how much of an advantage you have,
Mm,
and then like 2, 3 years later, let me really fucking hit you in the fucking head with reality. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Using people and shit. That's
yeah,
business, man.
that's yeah. People need to stop tying that to negativity or evil or anything like that. A lot of people try to throw under the bus as a cult and everything like that. It's like, no, bro. Whatever the fuck works for you. Everyone else has the ability to either accept or not. And I think a lot of the esoteric principles that comes of witchcraft or like Satanism, whatever the case may be, if you believe in it, it's gonna have effect on you. If you have no belief in it and you stay consistent with a lack of belief, it has no effect on you.
Mm,
People buy into it, get scared, put in situations, and oh my god, or then they start doing coke and be up for 3, 4 days, start smoking meth and be up for 3 or 4 days. Yeah, I've had situations where people like fucking get their first like fucking sack of meth, and then like a week later start already praying to fucking like the
oh,
devil and shit like that. It's like, bro, go to sleep, get some food in your system, take a Xanax, and then come talk to me for a little bit, bro, because I think you're a little bit off edge. Uh, a lot of these
yeah.
bro, like stay up for 3 days in a fucking studio and then try to go be a normal person in real life. It's not gonna work.
I feel you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. You've been up for a while. I know it's
Bro,
daytime there, right?
I slept a little bit yesterday, bro. I just been
Oh,
been dealing with a lot, bro.
tough for
I
Adderall,
think
huh?
No, no, I love Adderalls and shit like that, but
You love the
you know
Addies.
what? You know what it comes down to a lot of times too with me, bro. It's just like I got a lot of shit going on in my personal life, business life, and life. I'm stretched very thin in terms of just my time and energy, efforts, and everything else.
Yeah,
And right now, like current situation with child custody stuff, about to get to court and everything else as well. Like,
yeah.
but it had a lot to do with people just like resenting the fact that I have the ability to have inroads in the entertainment industry and everything else in a
Mm,
quick fashion. And like a lot of these girls that met me in the DMs or case may be, they tried to destroy my life in that world to have more control over it. But then when I play along to that and I'm not in the mix anymore, I'm no longer what they wanted from the get-go. So it's like a weird self-fulfilling prophecy is I'm gonna change you. And then
mm.
once you're changed, I don't want you anymore.
Okay.
And then it's just like a lot of artists face that issue in
Damn.
life where their partners initially were really okay and involved in their fucking business and the whole 9 yards, and then they reach a point where they don't want to be involved in it
Okay.
anymore. And this is your business, this is your life. So like, what do? Destroy your sense of self to appease them, or you continue on your road as who you are? And there's a lot of sacrifices that have to be made if you want to be the father, be consistently present.
Mm,
Um, I tried my best, bro, and the more I noticed that I was nice, and the more I noticed I was less manipulative, the more I tried to not be fucking the toxic person that fucking gaslighted in the whole 9 yards. I lost my family in the process, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like
uh,
now if I could think about it, do I go back? Do I do the same thing? Probably not, bro. You know what I
no.
mean? I would have stayed the manipulating fucking piece of shit
Uh,
because I would
okay.
have my kids here and I would have this bitch in check. And like people could
Mm,
take that for what it is, but it's a trade off. You want to be involved in this in a proper way? You're gonna have to fucking be a piece of shit, bro. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Because guess what? The majority of this world is gonna do what's best for them, bro. And your good deeds and your goodwill and your charitable efforts will not be given the same type of respect back,
right.
no matter.
Especially with
I
women, right?
Women and creative artists are two
Uh,
of the biggest bitches of the entire world.
oh, bro.
Um,
I
oh,
was
bro,
gonna
you
ask
could,
that.
no, bro, you don't know how many of these kids like I literally fed, fucking let
Mm,
borrow money in the whole 9 yards, and like I never did it with the intention of getting it back, but I always said the same thing. And this is why I'm so uncredited in a lot of shit too, is because my stupid ass would tell them like, look, I want the label to think that you did this all because I want them to like really like attach onto you. So like, no, I didn't write that. No, I didn't produce that. No, I didn't help you with that marketing. No, I didn't call in a favor to get you on that radio station or get you
yeah.
on there. But in reality, my shit was always like, look, I don't need you right now. But later on in life, if I'm
Yeah.
in a bad spot, like I want to be able to call you and like ask for
Yeah.
help. And what I noticed pretty quickly when I was facing a little situation, because in any type of nature of business, bro, if you're making real money, you're investing real money and your money's all up in the air. I know a lot of millionaires that like when they hit that button and launch a campaign, bro, like it's all on the line right there. And
Mm-hmm.
then are these affiliates or these publishers gonna fucking pay you for your work at the end? It's not guaranteed. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like
shit.
so I lost a lot of money in trying to make more money. So like when I
Mm.
did turn to some of them for some help at one point, I got nothing but fucking no replies or fucking like just shit talking. And I was like,
Really?
okay.
A lot of
I
them
said,
still
all right,
fuck with you, bro, right?
bro.
I see people
Yeah,
like bigging you up a lot, all these big artists, so
they love me, dog. Like
yeah.
it's some of the bigger artists that the ones that really are doing it are the ones that respect me. It's these
Mm.
ones that are like these middle ground guys that are still
Okay.
like changing genres every fucking week. Like this week they're a rapper, the next week they're a pop punk fucking dude. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, bro, be authentic. Stop being a fucking liar. Stop trying to ride your dead homie's fucking coattails. You don't know how many little peeps friends just fucking ran with his style and his music after he died. It
I
was
remember that.
disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. And then some of these kids are like people I consider my fucking children. And
Damn.
to see how they acted after that kid died, bro, has been a fucking like vomit in my mouth for a long
Uh,
time. And there's a lot. And dude, the thing is, a lot of these kids avoid me, bro. To be honest with you, like I'm not. I don't like saying this like this, but bro, I'm not above fucking putting a back bat to someone's fucking head if I feel they're that. Like, people could take that for what they will. My connections to street level shit here in Los Angeles is very deep because of family connections and over 25 years of actually being involved. Um, I There's nobody to call on me here. A lot of people, I'm going to call this person, call them. We here in Los Angeles, we are completely dominated by a prison gang structure that controls everything out here. If you end up in the jail system here in Los Angeles, you are now very easily killed by people from various factions in a way that will have no repercussions. If you're in jail on a life sentence, what's going to be the difference between you killing somebody and having to spend a month in the hole and right back to your hell of a life sentence? There is no, they can't give you nothing more than life.
Shit.
You know, and so when you already got that, and you're like, dude, yeah, you get yourself situations.
You ever
A
been
lot
locked?
of a lot of major artists have been protected by Mexican gangs in prison. Drakeo the Ruler, when he was in jail, was not, we call it programming. He was not programming with blacks. He was programming with the higher level Mexicans of Southern California.
Okay.
They offered that protection. A lot of these major recording artists that are in these like high level holdups, and I assume like Tory Lanez right now, you don't turn to the ones that are in power, and the ones that are in power in California's prison system is Sureños, which is Southern California Mexican street gangs. Have an organization. So like here in
You
LA,
just gotta pay,
if you're,
right?
it's more along yeah, you can pay, like Jewish people pay to be involved in that group. They're protected.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of it has to do with let's say this, here in LA, if you're from a street gang here and you're from this area, and let's say you have like a fucking historical beef with this other street gang, and let's say you guys are killing each other constantly, whatever the case may be, the second you enter the prison system here, that's out the window. None of that shit from the streets is allowed to enter the prison system. So now your enemy is now your bunkmate, and you have to protect him. Like, and it's not allowed. If you go against that code, you're gonna get fucking stabbed and dead. It is what it is. People die in the jail all the time, bro.
Damn.
We've seen a lot of artists die in jail. It's a weird shit out there, bro. Like, it's different than every other country. I mean, and similar in its own fashion too. I think even in Thailand, there's probably like a certain group that controls most of the stuff that are going on in the prisons, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, every
Yeah.
fucking, they all have their own little version of that. You know what I mean? So it's not exclusive to here.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the future of music though. In the same
For
token
real?
though, bro. Yeah, I really am, because I'm starting to see more of a connection instrumentation, actually making real timeless music. I think we're very
Mm.
close to the end of this in the box Fruity Loops era, and I'm very happy to see it end because
What kind of timeless music, bro? I know Lil Yachty made some. His tape was sick, bro. That sounded like
bro,
some timeless shit.
yeah, bro. Like, but you see, like, these people are calling in like these higher level musicians. It's not like who produced Strike, who produced that. You know what I mean? It's hard for people to tell me that because these dudes are finally reaching out to people that like they're finding randomly, or have professional like backgrounds in this shit.
Mm.
Most of these hip hop artists, we noticed their first albums were all boom bap or fucking like programmed based on Fruit Loops. And around album 3 or 4, I guess they finally start taking acid or shrooms or some shit. And then all of a sudden it's guitar and live drums and the fucking all 9 yards. And there's like this psychedelic space they enter. I think we've seen that with everyone from Tyler the Creator to like
Mm.
Kendrick and everything like that.
ASAP
There is an
Rocky.
yeah, there's an understanding of that needs to expand into that
Okay.
live and thinking. When you be playing main stages, it's hard just to lip sing over your tracks at that point. People don't really want to see that no more.
Right.